Hey, my name is Tavis with Zero Data Stress, and we have a laptop that is from a customer that they are complaining that they're getting a lot of pop-ups when they browse the web and just overall not working properly. So what we're going to try to do is try to clean it up and remove all the malware and adware that's on the system so that they can actually use the system and it worked better for them. After that, I'm planning to upgrade it to Windows 10 since it is only Windows 8. It doesn't even have Windows 8.1 installed. So I think that would really help them out and they would really like it afterward. So let's go ahead and get started. Alright, so the first thing you really want to do is go under Control Panel. Alright, go under Programs and Features. And then basically what you want to do here is scroll through your list to see if there's any stuff on here that you don't really need installed, such as Facebook video calling. You don't really need that. Shop at Home toolbar is another one. You definitely don't need that. So once you find one you don't want, basically you just click it and then you click on uninstall at the top, and then you just basically follow the steps. You have to be careful on some of them because some of them will actually have options that will leave some software still on there, such as this one. The cashback software is basically what it's saying on this option. But I'm choosing remove all software. You want to be careful too. You don't want to uninstall most of this stuff that's in the list. Some of it is pretty important or is necessary for other programs, such as Microsoft Visual C++ 2005, of course Microsoft Office if you got that installed, and some of these other applications, like if you have an HP laptop or a Dell laptop, you typically want to leave anything Dell or HP related installed on the system, and especially things like IDT audio. That's for your sound, onboard sound, so you don't want to get rid of that. And once it finishes uninstalling, typically they'll pop up the Internet Explorer window saying you successfully uninstalled, or we're sorry to see you go, or whatever. Just close it and then continue on with what you're doing. I'm going to uninstall Yahoo Toolbar. Sometimes this process can take a pretty good while depending on how much is installed and how slow the system is or how fast it is. And so the rest of it looks fairly decent. So now let's close this and let's go download some anti-malware utilities that are free. Hopefully we'll be able to download it on the computer and it won't be too messed up, the browser that is, so that we can actually download them, because sometimes malware and adware gets on there and really messes up your browser so that you can't even download anything. In that situation, it's really just best to download it from another computer if you have one. Alright, so I'm going to go to google.com first one we'll download is ADW Cleaner. Wow, can't type. Okay, and usually where I download them from is bleepingcomputer.com. They're a trusted source, and of course you can get them from the actual place that makes it, which is ToolsLib, is where it's hosted at. That's the author, so you can get it from there too, but usually I stick to bleepingcomputer.com. And yeah, I can tell this system is kind of slow already. So basically just click on download now once the website finishes loading up. Now down here at the bottom popped up asking us to run, save, or cancel. So I'm going to do a save as. And sooner or later it should pop up and ask us where we want to save it. Downloads, you can save it under downloads, that's fine too. It doesn't really matter where you save it as long as you know where you saved it to so you can run it. So you just click save. Okay, and you can ignore this for this program because we know it's safe to run. So you just click run. And again, it's trying to tell you that it's potentially not a safe application, so ignore that again because we know this is a safe application. Just click more info right here on the left, and then you click run anyway. Click yes. And it should pop up anytime now. Okay, I agree. Alright, so now you just click on scan. And for the moment, I'm going to pause this until it finishes, and I'll start it back up whenever it finishes the scan. Okay, we're finally back. That took a while. So now ADW Cleaner has listed things that it found down here under services, folders, files, etc. You can go through and look at any of those if you need to. You can also deselect stuff if you know it's okay. I usually just let it select whatever it wants to because I've never ran into any issues doing that. So once you look through everything, just click on clean up here at the top. It says that all programs be closed, etc. So save any work that you may have open. Hopefully you don't have any work open anyway. And then you just click OK. Should take a few minutes to process. and you will have to let it restart the computer after it finishes. So you'll have to let it restart before you can proceed with any other cleaning. Okay, so now that that's finished, just click OK. It says you gotta restart the computer. Okay, we're back. So once you get back into Windows, ADW Cleaner will pop up a notepad file that basically lists off what all it removed, just in case you need to have it for, I guess, restore or just for a record or whatever. We can just close that because we don't really need that anymore. Alright, so next thing, we need to download another one, another anti-malware utility. So we're just going to go to google.com. Okay, and let's search for Rogue Killer. Again, we're going back to bleepingcomputer.com. And just hit the download now button. So again, we're just gonna save the download in a place we can remember, such as the downloads folder. I'm gonna run this. Click accept. And basically you just want to click start scan. And just hit start scan again. Okay, and while that's scanning, I'm going to go back to Google and download a couple more. Okay, the next one I'm going to do is a small one called Junk Removal Tool, or simply JRT. Again, it's on bleepingcomputer.com. Bleepingcomputer.com is a great place to find a lot of anti-malware utilities, and their forums have really good help for malware removal if you happen to need that. You can post in there and some professionals will help you get rid of malware as well. And there's downloads, as I mentioned, that you can go to and sort through by the amount of downloads or popularity for very popular anti-malware utilities. That'll help you clean up your computer as well. Okay, next one I'm going to download is called rkill. That's not the same as Rogue Killer. This is a different anti-malware utility. Looks like you need to go back to Google instead of using Bing. And once again, we're back on bleepingcomputer.com. Now on this one, it's a little bit different. you can choose to do the standard download, which is the file name is rkill.exe, but some malware detects that file name when it runs or executes, and so I always download iexplore.exe, which is the same file name as Internet Explorer, the executable name, and most malware won't block that because it knows that iexplore.exe is Internet Explorer. So typically malware programs that are on your computer, infected on your computer, will not block that process. And then typically I usually should run rkill first in most cases, because it's a quick little utility that kills different malware processes that may be blocking you from running certain programs, such as Malwarebytes or any other anti-malware programs. It kills all those malware processes and resets some settings back to the default, so you can actually do something on your computer to remove the malware. Okay, so the last one I will probably download is going to be MCSoft Emergency Kit. It's actually a good free scan utility for malware. The download for it's a bit larger than the rest of them, but it's definitely worth it. And the scan will take a lot longer, but again, it's really worth it. Alright, so while this downloads and scans, I'm going to pause the video once again, and I'll return once they finish. Okay, so now I've came back to this computer. The scan took a few hours to run, and it got too late, so I had to pause everything and start it again the next day. So when the scan finishes, it'll bring up a website basically describing some of what the program found. In this case, it was a PUM, which is potentially unwanted modification of your computer, and it gives examples and tells you essentially how to remove it and prevent yourself from getting it again. Typically I don't pay much attention to that because the software itself is pretty decent at getting rid of it itself, so I usually just select everything in the list that it finds, and then you just click on remove selected. Take a little bit to run through its process. Removal finished. Just click finish, and you can X out of it. Okay, and the next one I'm going to run is the one we downloaded, which is MCSoft Emergency Kit. This is a pretty good one that I found and been using for quite a while to do general anti-malware and antivirus scans. It doesn't run in the background or anything like that, so don't depend on it to be running in the background and prevent you from getting viruses, because that's not what it's going to do. This you have to actually manually run on your own to scan your system. So when you run it, it will pop up and ask you where you want to extract it. So just click install. It's gonna put it in the default folder of EEK or EEK under C:. It'll take a minute or two to extract everything, depending on how fast your system is or isn't. Okay, it's finally done. So what you want to run is start emergency kit scanner. Now when this pops up, what you want to do first is update it to get the latest definitions and all that, so that your scanner will be up to date and detect all of the malware that may be on your computer. And on this, of course, you want to click yes. Okay, so it's finally starting to load. Alright, so now that it's finally popped up, first question it asks is if you want to update the program, and you definitely want to do that, so click yes. And it will start this update process, which again will probably take a few minutes. Some of the stuff it has to download is quite large, not too large, but quite enough to take a couple minutes to download. So it's going to update, and when it gets done, I'll start back up and start the scan, show you how to do that. Okay, so now MCSoft has finally updated. As you can see, it's green, which is good. So now what we need to do is click on scan, and on this question, just click yes. That's basically asking if it wants you to scan for adware, things that pop up or may do unwanted settings on your computer. Alright, so click on custom scan, and basically you can leave the defaults. That's perfect. Click next. And usually what I do is click on scan completion and tell it to quarantine the detected items or objects, and click OK. So what that will do is, as soon as it's finished, it will quarantine anything that it finds, just in case the computer would happen to shut down for updates or whatever, if you leave the scan running. So that way it'll go ahead and take care of anything that it finds. So this is going to take a while, so once again I'm going to pause it, and I'll get back when it finishes. Okay, so now the scan is finished and it didn't detect anything. So if you want to view the report, you can. You just click view report. And this will list off everything that it found, which in this case there was nothing found. So let's close that. I'm going to close this. Okay. So now this thing is looking a whole lot better.